My beloved child, listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. Before you decide, before you answer the message, before you build a future in your mind, before you call the feeling a sign, let your heart become still before me. I know how deeply you feel. I know how quickly your heart can recognize tenderness, how much you have prayed for someone who understands you, someone who sees you, someone who does not make you feel like loving is a burden. I know the ache you carry when the room is quiet and your thoughts begin to ask what your mouth has been afraid to say. You have wondered, how will I know if this person is truly from God, and not only from my loneliness, my hope, or my fear of being alone? You have asked it in the silence. You have asked it after conversations that warmed your heart but troubled your spirit. You have asked it when the connection felt too meaningful to ignore and yet too confusing to fully trust. And I do not condemn you for asking. I do not rebuke you for desiring love. I do not call you foolish because you want companionship, covenant, marriage, restoration, tenderness, friendship, or someone whose presence feels like rest after seasons of being misunderstood. A heart that desires love is not a shameful heart. A heart that longs to be chosen is not a weak heart. A heart that wants to build, to belong, to be known, to give and receive affection in purity and honor is not a heart I despise. But my beloved child, I am teaching you that not every feeling that rises within you is a confirmation. Not every open door is my invitation. Not every tender voice is a covenant voice. And not every person who awakens desire has been sent by me. Some things touch the heart but trouble the spirit. Some things feel exciting in the beginning but quietly lead you away from peace. Some things look like an answer while they are still being tested in the light. What comes from me will not pull you into confusion, secrecy, anxiety, spiritual distance, or emotional disorder. What comes from me will not require you to silence conviction in order to keep connection. What comes from me will not make you hide from prayer, avoid truth, ignore wisdom, or become restless in your own soul. I am not the author of confusion, but of peace, as it is written. And when I send what is good, I do not send it wrapped in a torment that makes you lose yourself, lose your clarity, lose your obedience, and lose the quiet place where you and I speak together. Do not be afraid of discernment. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is not fear dressed as wisdom. Discernment is the holy ability to recognize what carries my breath and what only carries emotional intensity. I am not trying to make you suspicious of everyone who loves you. I am not teaching you to reject every kind word, doubt every gentle gesture, or run from every possibility of love. I am maturing you so that when peace arrives, you will recognize it, and when confusion approaches dressed in affection, you will not hand over your heart too quickly. So slow down, my beloved child. Bring the name before me. Bring the hope before me. Bring the conversation, the attraction, the waiting, the unanswered questions, the dreams you have quietly built, and the fears you have not told anyone. Bring them into my presence, and let me show you what is pure, what is premature, what is healing, what is harmful, what is from me, and what is only awakening an old wound that still wants to be chosen. And before this message goes deeper, if you are asking me for relationship discernment, if your heart is saying, Father, I do not want to be deceived by loneliness, hope, attraction, or fear, then like this video as a quiet act of agreement. Subscribe for more prayerful messages that help your heart return to my voice. And in the comments, write, Lord, teach me the difference between peace and confusion. Let it be more than words. Let it be your surrender. Let it be your declaration that you will not judge a relationship only by emotion, attraction, timing, attention, or desire, but by the peace that comes from me. For peace is not a small sign, my child. Peace is one of the ways I guard what belongs to me. What comes from me will not compete with me in your heart. Let this be one of the first lights by which you discern the connection before you. Let this sentence settle deeper than the excitement, deeper than the longing, deeper than the relief you feel when someone finally notices the parts of you that have been lonely for a long time. A person I send may move your heart. A person I send may awaken tenderness. A person I send may make you feel seen, valued, cherished, and understood in ways that feel like rain after a dry season. But my beloved child, the one I send will never demand the throne that belongs to me alone. I am not against the love I bless. I am not against affection that is pure. companionship that is holy, covenant that is ordered, or tenderness that helps your heart breathe again. I created love. I know how to give good gifts. I know how to place people in your life who strengthen you, encourage you, sharpen you, and walk with you in truth. But I will not send someone who must become your idol in order to remain in your life. I will not send someone who requires you to neglect prayer so you can keep their attention, silence conviction so you can keep their affection, ignore wisdom so you can keep the fantasy alive, or disobey my voice so you can avoid losing them. What comes from me will not compete with me in your heart. It will not compete with me in your decisions. It will not compete with me in your identity. It will not compete with me in your obedience. It will not make you feel as though you must choose between peace with me and closeness with them. Do you hear me, my child? True love does not ask you to step away from the altar in order to prove devotion. True love does not become offended when you pray, when you wait, when you seek counsel, when you choose purity, when you say, I need to honor God in this. True love does not make your surrender feel like a threat. But counterfeit attachment can be subtle. It does not always begin with open rebellion. Sometimes it begins with tenderness that finds your wound. Sometimes it begins with words that sound like understanding, with messages that arrive when you feel unseen, with attention that makes you feel chosen after a season of being overlooked. Someone may speak softly to the places in you that still ache. Someone may know how to name your pain, how to soothe your fear, how to make you feel as though they are the answer to every prayer you cried in secret. And still, my beloved child, if their presence begins to pull you away from prayer, away from purity, away from truth, away from patience, away from wise counsel, and away from the quiet conviction of my spirit, then you must slow down and test what is happening. Do not mistake emotional intensity for holy confirmation. The strongest feeling is not always the clearest sign. The deepest ache is not always discernment. The person who stirs you most quickly is not always the person I have sent. There are attractions that feel powerful because they touch an unhealed place. There are connections that feel destined because they repeat a familiar wound. There are voices that feel comforting because they tell your flesh what your spirit has been trying to surrender. And I do not say this to frighten you. I say this to guard you. I say this because your heart is precious, and what is precious must not be handed over to every feeling that knows how to knock. As it is written, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. And though that word was spoken into order among my people, it also reveals my nature to you. I do not create holy confusion in order to guide you. I do not lead you into a relationship by making you frantic, divided, secretive, unstable, and afraid to obey me. I may stretch your faith. I may ask you to wait. I may require maturity. I may expose what still needs healing within you, but I will not be the author of a love that makes you lose the sound of my voice. Look honestly, my beloved child. Does this connection make you more surrendered to me, or more afraid to obey me? Does it make you pray with a cleaner heart, or does it make you avoid my presence because you already know what I will show you? Does it strengthen your desire for truth, or does it train you to explain away what your spirit keeps discerning? Does it bring patience, purity, and peace, or does it keep you trapped in constant fear, hidden disobedience, emotional bargaining, and the restless need to be reassured again and again? Covenant love will not require spiritual compromise as its entrance fee. It will not ask you to abandon your identity in me so you can become whatever someone else prefers. It will not need darkness to survive. It will not need secrecy to grow. It will not need you to hide from the people who pray for you, counsel you, and see clearly when your emotions are loud. What comes from me can stand in the light. What comes from me can be tested by truth. What comes from me will not panic when patience is required, because what I build does not depend on pressure to remain alive. So hold the connection before me without clutching it. Hold the name before me without worshiping it. Hold the possibility before me without surrendering your peace to it. If it is from me, it will not have to steal you from me to stay. If it is from me, it will make room for obedience. If it is from me, it will not punish your holiness, mock your convictions, or make your surrender feel foolish. It will draw you nearer to what is clean, wise, patient, and true. And now I am teaching you to listen more deeply, because peace is not always the same as excitement, and confusion is not always obvious at first. Sometimes confusion hides beneath attraction. Sometimes fear hides beneath desire. Sometimes urgency hides beneath words that sound like love, but my peace will guard you when your emotions are loud, and my spirit will show you what belongs to me. Stay near me, my beloved child. Do not give my throne to a feeling. Do not give my voice to a person. Do not give your obedience away for the fear of being alone. What comes from me will not compete with me in your heart. My beloved child, peace is not numbness. Peace is not the absence of every question, every trembling place, every human concern, or every vulnerable thought that rises when your heart is being invited to trust. Do not think that because you feel nervous, you have no peace. Do not think that because you are cautious, I am not leading you. Do not think that because you are learning how to open your heart again after disappointment, every small fear means the connection is false. I know the tenderness of your humanity. I know that love, even when it is clean, can make the heart feel exposed. I know that being seen after seasons of hiding can feel both beautiful and frightening. But peace, my beloved child, is deeper than the trembling of your emotions. Peace is the witness beneath the surface. Peace is the quiet alignment that remains when excitement settles, when the message is not coming, when the future is not yet clear, when you have placed the name before me and your spirit can still breathe. Peace is not always loud. Peace is not always dramatic. Peace may come gently, like a steady hand upon your heart. But what comes from me will carry a stability that fantasy cannot produce. Fantasy rushes. Fantasy clutches. Fantasy is terrified of delay, because delay exposes what was built only on imagination. But peace can wait, because peace trusts my hand. Do you see, my child? Fantasy needs constant feeding. It needs signs every hour. It needs reassurance every day. It needs you to interpret every silence, measure every word, replay every conversation, and make a kingdom out of possibilities that I have not yet confirmed. Fantasy may excite your emotions, but it will not guard your soul. Fantasy may make you feel alive for a moment, but then it often leaves you restless, anxious, afraid, and unable to rest in me. It presses you to move before wisdom has spoken. It urges you to surrender boundaries before character has been revealed. It tells you that waiting will make you lose what was meant for you, but what I send does not have to be preserved by panic. My peace is different. My peace can be quiet, but it is stable. My peace does not need manipulation in order to survive. It does not need pressure. It does not need secrecy. It does not need emotional bargaining, hidden compromise, or constant reassurance to remain alive. The peace I give does not merely excite your emotions. It guards your heart and your mind. As it is written, the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. That peace is not a passing thrill. It is a holy guard. It stands at the doorway of your inner life and keeps you from being carried away by every feeling that rises with force. So, when you ask, "Is this from you, Father?" do not only ask whether the connection makes you feel wanted. Ask whether it helps your spirit remain guarded in me. Ask whether it strengthens patience, clarity, self-control, wisdom, and obedience. Ask whether you can still pray with an open heart. Ask whether you can still sleep without torment. Ask whether you can still hear my voice without the noise of fear filling every quiet space. Ask whether you can still obey what I have already shown you is right. Holy peace does not make you careless. It makes you steady. Holy peace does not remove discernment. It deepens discernment. Holy peace does not cause you to ignore warning signs. It gives you enough clarity to face them without panic. If it steals peace, test it again. If it repeatedly leaves you unable to pray, test it again. If it causes you to hide from my presence because you know I will ask you to slow down, test it again. If it keeps you awake in fear, if it makes your obedience feel expensive, if it trains you to excuse what your spirit keeps discerning, if it pulls you into secrecy, confusion, pressure, or emotional dependence, bring it back into the light and let me examine it with you. I do not say this to shame you. I say this because I love you too much to let you call turmoil confirmation simply because it came with affection. There are times when your heart will feel stirred, and yet your spirit will feel restrained. There are times when someone's words will feel sweet, and yet something within you will not be settled. There are times when the attention feels healing, but the pattern begins to scatter you. Pay attention, my child. I do not always warn you by thunder. Sometimes I warn you by removing rest. Sometimes I warn you by allowing a holy uneasiness to remain. Sometimes I show you that something is not aligned with me by the way it makes you divided within yourself. And remember, confusion may feel powerful, but it will scatter you. It will scatter your thoughts, scatter your prayers, scatter your convictions, scatter your identity, and scatter the quiet trust you have been learning in my presence. My peace may feel gentle, but it will guard you. It will help you walk slowly, speak honestly, choose purity, receive counsel, honor timing, and remain near to me without desperation. So do not worship intensity. Do not confuse restlessness with revelation. Do not call anxiety a sign simply because your heart is deeply involved. Let peace become a witness, not because you are avoiding vulnerability, but because you are learning holy alignment. What comes from me will not require you to live in constant inward chaos. What comes from me will not make you afraid of the light. What comes from me will allow your spirit to remain awake, clean, yielded, and close to me. But now, listen carefully, my beloved child, because confusion does not always enter like confusion. Sometimes it enters with tenderness. Sometimes it enters with empathy. Sometimes it enters with spiritual language, with words that sound prayerful, with concern that feels deep, with a voice that seems to understand wounds no one else has touched. And this is why you must keep listening beyond the sound of the voice and discern the fruit it leaves behind. Not every tender voice is a covenant voice, my beloved child. Not every person who speaks gently to your pain has been sent to protect your peace. Not everyone who says the right words carries the right spirit. There are voices that know how to sound soft while leading you into confusion. There are words that feel comforting for a moment but leave you farther from truth when the conversation ends. There are connections that come with warmth, attention, empathy, and spiritual phrases, and yet they do not carry the fruit of patience, purity, clarity, and obedience. This is why I am teaching you not to discern only by how a voice makes you feel in the moment. A counterfeit connection does not always arrive harshly. It does not always begin with control, anger, dishonor, or obvious danger. Sometimes it comes with kindness. Sometimes it comes with concern. Sometimes it comes with the feeling of finally being understood. Sometimes it says, "I prayed for you." Sometimes it says, "God showed me you." Sometimes it uses language that sounds holy while quietly pulling you away from holiness. Sometimes it appears when your heart is tired, when loneliness has made you ache, when rejection has left a bruise, when old wounds have been touched again, when the fear of being overlooked has grown heavy, when your desire for marriage has become tender, and when your longing to be chosen has made you vulnerable to anyone who seems to choose you quickly. I do not condemn you for being moved by kindness, my beloved child, but I am teaching you to test what moves you. I do not rebuke you because your heart responds when someone seems to see you deeply. I know how long you have waited to be handled gently. I know how many times you have felt invisible in rooms where you were present. I know how deeply it can touch you when someone remembers your details, notices your silence, asks about your pain, speaks to your future, and makes you feel as though your heart is no longer alone. But tenderness alone is not proof of covenant. Attention alone is not confirmation. Being seen by someone is not the same as being sent by me. As it is written, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world." Do you hear me, my child? I did not tell you to test only harsh voices. I did not tell you to test only obvious darkness. I said, do not believe every spirit. Test the comforting voice. Test the tender voice. Test the spiritual voice. Test the voice that says it understands you. Test the voice that enters when you are weak and begins to feel like shelter before it has been proven by truth. For not every voice that sounds comforting carries truth. Not everyone who says, "I care for you," knows how to honor your soul. Not everyone who speaks about God is surrendered to God. Not everyone who says they want covenant is willing to walk in the purity, patience, humility, and accountability covenant requires. And if a voice comforts your wound but weakens your obedience, you must test it. If a voice soothes your loneliness but feeds your secrecy, you must test it. If a voice makes you feel chosen but slowly pulls you away from prayer, wise counsel, purity, and peace, you must not ignore what my Spirit is showing you. The counterfeit often asks you to rush before fruit has been revealed. It pressures you to give access before trust has been built. It teaches you to hide details from those who love you wisely. It trains you to defend red flags because you are afraid of losing the feeling. It makes you explain away patterns that trouble your spirit. It causes you to silence counsel because counsel threatens the attachment. It makes you call conviction, fear, call warning, insecurity, call pressure, passion, and call confusion, depth. My beloved child, when you must keep defending what keeps disturbing you, pause. When you must keep protecting a connection from the light, pause. When you must keep arguing against the witness in your own spirit, pause. True covenant presence will not exploit your tenderness. It will not punish your boundaries. It will not mock your purity. It will not make you feel guilty because you need time with me. It will not become angry when you slow down. It will not accuse you of fear because you choose wisdom. It will not shame you for needing prayer, counsel, clarity, or time. What comes from me can endure holy testing. What comes from me does not panic when brought into the light. What comes from me does not need secrecy in order to survive, because truth is not an enemy to what I have ordained. So ask the question, my beloved child, when you set a holy boundary, does this person honor your peace or pressure your weakness? When you say, I need to pray, do they give room for your obedience or do they make you feel cruel for slowing down? When you say, I want to walk purely, do they honor the fear of the Lord in you or do they try to make holiness seem unnecessary? When you seek counsel, do they respect the covering around your life or do they try to isolate you from voices that help you see clearly? These are not small things. They reveal fruit. They reveal posture. They reveal whether the connection honors me or merely wants access to you. Do not be deceived by tenderness without truth. Do not be captured by empathy without obedience. Do not surrender your discernment because someone knows how to speak softly. A voice can sound gentle and still be unsafe if it leads you away from peace, patience, purity, and the narrow path of obedience. I am not asking you to become cold. I am not asking you to harden your heart, reject love, or fear every person who draws near. I am teaching you to become guarded with wisdom, tender without being easily taken, kind without abandoning your covering, open without leaving your heart unprotected. A precious heart must not be left without a holy fence. My beloved child, a precious heart must have a holy fence. Do not let anyone make you feel ashamed because you have learned to guard what I have been healing. Do not let anyone call you cold because you are no longer careless. Do not let anyone call you fearful because you are moving with wisdom. Guarding your heart is not bitterness. Guarding your heart is not emotional shutdown. Guarding your heart is not the refusal to love. Guarding your heart is stewardship over something I call precious. Something I have carried through seasons of disappointment. Something I have washed with tears. Something I am teaching to beat again in purity, peace, and truth. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Do you hear the weight of that, my child? I did not say, leave your heart open to every voice, every promise, every emotional pull, every sudden closeness, and every person who wants access before they have shown fruit. I said, keep it, guard it, watch over it, tend it as something living, tend it as something sacred, tend it as a place where decisions are born, where affections grow, where obedience is strengthened or weakened, where your future can be shaped by what you allow to enter and remain. A fence around a garden is not hatred toward those outside of it. It is honor for what is growing within it. A gate is not rejection. A boundary is not cruelty. A slower pace is not punishment. Prayer is not avoidance. Counsel is not distrust. Purity is not distance from love. These are ways you allow me to protect what your emotions may not yet be able to see clearly. These are ways you say, Father, I want to love rightly. I want to choose wisely. I want what is real, not what is rushed. I want what is from you, not what merely presses against an unhealed longing. The person I send will not need you to lower your guard in order to prove that your heart is loving. The one who honors me will not be offended because you need time. They will not accuse you because you pray. They will not mock you because you seek wise counsel. They will not become impatient with your desire for clarity. They will not treat your purity as an obstacle. They will not make your boundaries feel like betrayal. They will understand that love which comes from me does not break down holy fences. It learns how to stand honorably at the gate until truth, fruit, timing, and peace have all borne witness. So test the response to your boundaries, my beloved child. Does this person respect your time? Or do they demand immediate access to every hour, every thought, every private place in your life? Do they honor clarity, or do they keep you trapped in vague words, mixed signals, and emotional fog? Do they welcome honesty, or do they punish you when you speak what is true? Do they honor your spiritual convictions, or do they slowly pressure you to compromise what I have already taught you? Do they respect your emotional pace, or do they make you feel guilty for needing to move slowly? Do they make room for your relationship with me, or do they act as though your devotion to me is a rival to their place in your life? These questions are not small. They are windows. They reveal posture. They reveal maturity. They reveal whether the person standing near your heart understands that covenant is holy, or whether they only want closeness without responsibility. Not everyone who wants access is prepared for covenant. Not everyone who desires your tenderness is able to steward it. Not everyone who enjoys being near you is willing to honor the process by which trust is built. Some people want the warmth of your heart but not the weight of honoring it. Some want your attention but not your boundaries. Some want your vulnerability but not your purity. Some want your affection but not your obedience to me. And when a counterfeit connection meets a holy fence, its reaction often reveals what its words tried to hide. Confusion increases when you set a boundary. Affection becomes punishment. Warmth becomes withdrawal. Communication becomes control. Questions become accusations. Silence becomes a weapon. Suddenly you feel responsible for another person's instability, responsible for their moods, responsible for their anger, responsible for keeping them calm by abandoning what I told you to guard. My child, love from me will not make you responsible for managing someone else's disorder by surrendering your peace. If someone can only treat you kindly when you give them unrestricted access, slow down. If someone can only remain gentle when you agree with their pace, slow down. If someone becomes harsh when you choose prayer, becomes distant when you choose purity, becomes offended when you seek counsel, or becomes unstable when you ask for clarity, do not ignore the fruit. A boundary does not destroy what is from me. A boundary reveals what is not rooted in me. What is healthy can be patient. What is pure can wait. What is honest can endure questions. What is truly loving can honor the fence without trying to climb over it. Sometimes I slow the connection not because I am withholding love from you, but because I am revealing what speed would have hidden. Speed can disguise immaturity. Speed can cover control. Speed can make pressure feel like passion. Speed can make emotional hunger look like destiny. But delay allows fruit to appear. Delay allows character to speak. Delay allows motives to rise to the surface. Delay allows you to see whether words are supported by patience, whether affection is supported by honor, whether desire is supported by self-control, and whether the connection draws you nearer to me or quietly pulls you away. Do not confuse access with love, my beloved child. Access is not always intimacy. Closeness is not always covenant. Constant communication is not always commitment. Being wanted is not the same as being cherished. Being pursued is not the same as being honored. True love will not demand the keys to every room of your heart before trust has been formed. True love will not rush into sacred places and then call your caution fear. True love will understand that what is precious must be approached with reverence. So let your fence remain holy, not hard. Let your heart remain tender, not exposed. Let your yes be clean, and let your no be peaceful. Let prayer stand at the gate. Let scripture stand at the gate. Let wise counsel stand at the gate. Let purity stand at the gate. Let my peace stand at the gate. And if someone is from me, they will not despise the guardians I have placed around your life. They will not need you to abandon wisdom in order to prove affection. They will not fear the light, because what I send can be seen clearly in the light. Walk slowly now. Watch patiently. Listen beyond promises. The next confirmation will not be found in words alone, nor in desire alone, nor in the tenderness of a moment. Fruit will confirm what feelings cannot prove. Fruit will confirm what feelings cannot prove. My beloved child, feelings may introduce a possibility, but they cannot carry the full weight of confirmation. A feeling can rise quickly. A feeling can be stirred by kindness, by beauty, by attention, by loneliness being touched, by a word spoken at the right moment, by the hope that perhaps this time your heart is finally being answered. I do not despise your feelings. I made your heart able to feel. I know the sweetness of being moved. I know the tenderness that comes when someone seems to draw near with care, but I do not want you to build a covenant on the first movement of emotion when fruit has not yet had time to speak. What comes from me will grow in the light over time. It will not only sound right in a moment, it will become steady in ordinary places. It will show consistency when excitement settles. It will show humility when correction comes. It will show patience when timing slows. It will show repentance when something is wrong. It will show honesty when hiding would be easier. It will show spiritual alignment when desire becomes strong and compromise becomes available. This is why you must not only ask what you felt when they spoke, or what you hoped when they looked at you, or what your heart imagined when they made promises. Ask what fruit is being formed. Ask what remains after the beautiful words have passed. As it is written, by their fruits you shall know them, not by their charm alone, not by their gifts alone, not by their attention alone, not by the tenderness of a conversation, the strength of a promise, the beauty of a prayer, or the emotion that rises when you hear their name. By their fruits you shall know them. Words may open the door for observation, but fruit confirms the nature of the tree. A person may know how to say, I love you, I choose you, I prayed for you, I want what God wants, I will wait, I will honor you, I will protect your heart. But fruit reveals whether those words have roots. Fruit is revealed in delay. Fruit is revealed when the answer is not immediate. Fruit is revealed when you say, I need to pray. Fruit is revealed when you set a boundary and the person does not receive instant access. Fruit is revealed in disappointment, when they do not get what they want as quickly as they hoped. Fruit is revealed in correction, when truth touches pride. Fruit is revealed in ordinary pressure, when life is not romantic, when emotions are not high, when there is no applause, no dramatic sign, no perfect atmosphere, and the only thing left is character. My child, do not be afraid of the places where fruit is tested. Those places are not always interruptions. Sometimes they are my mercy. Covenant fruit carries peace. It carries self-control. It carries kindness that does not disappear when it is inconvenienced. It carries faithfulness in small things, not only intensity in emotional moments. It carries truthfulness when exaggeration could impress you. It carries patience when the flesh wants to hurry. It carries purity when desire is strong. It carries accountability, not resentment toward counsel. It carries a willingness to honor me even when affection burns, even when longing aches, even when waiting feels difficult. The person I send will still be human, and they will still need grace, but the direction of their life will not be away from me. Their presence will not train you to abandon peace. Their love will not require your disobedience. Counterfeit fruit is different, even when the words sound beautiful. It produces emotional chaos and then calls it passion. It produces double-mindedness and then calls it complexity. It produces secrecy and then calls it privacy. It produces spiritual laziness and then borrows holy language to cover it. It blames, possesses, pressures, withdraws, returns, apologizes, and repeats the same pattern without surrendering to change. It makes you feel guilty for having convictions. It makes you feel cruel for needing clarity. It makes compromise seem necessary in order to keep the connection alive. It may apologize with tears, but repentance is more than sorrow. Repentance changes direction. Repentance bears fruit worthy of repentance. An apology without change can become another chain if you mistake emotion for transformation. I am not teaching you to demand perfection from another person. I am teaching you to discern direction. There is a difference between weakness that is being surrendered to me and rebellion that is being excused. There is a difference between a person who stumbles and returns to truth and a person who repeatedly uses your compassion to avoid truth. There is a difference between someone who receives correction with humility and someone who punishes you because you brought the relationship into the light. Watch the direction. Watch the pattern. Watch what the connection produces in your prayer life. Your peace, your purity, your obedience, your sleep, your clarity, and your closeness to me. Remember Samuel, my beloved child. When he was young, he heard a call in the night, and at first he did not yet know how to distinguish the voice he was hearing. He ran to Eli because the sound seemed urgent, and he thought he knew where it came from. But he had to learn to listen rightly. He had to learn that not every sound should be answered in the same way. He had to become still enough to say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." Do you see, my child? Even a sincere heart must be trained in discernment. Even a tender heart must learn the difference between noise and my voice. Even a willing heart must not run after every call, simply because it sounds urgent in the night. Not every call is assignment. Not every attraction is covenant. Not every open door is my invitation. Not every person who appears at the right time has been sent by me for the purpose your heart imagines. Some doors open because you must learn to ask me before entering. Some voices call because you must learn not to answer without discernment. Some attractions rise because I am showing you what still needs healing, what still needs patience, what still needs surrender, and what still needs to be tested by truth. I do not shame you for feeling. I steady you so that feeling does not become your master. So let time speak, my beloved child. Let fruit speak. Let consistency speak. Let humility speak. Let the response to boundaries speak. Let the willingness to walk in purity speak. Let the attitude toward prayer, counsel, repentance, and obedience speak. If a connection is from me, time will not destroy it. Time will refine it. Time will remove confusion, expose what is false, deepen what is true, and allow peace to become clearer. Time is not the enemy of a God-ordained relationship. Fear says, rush, or you will lose it. Wisdom says, wait, and you will see what it is. Walk patiently now. Do not force the fruit to appear before its season. Do not paint fruit on a tree because you are afraid of what bare branches may reveal. What is rooted in me will bear what is pleasing to me. What is not rooted in me will eventually show itself. Feelings may begin the question, but fruit will answer it. And I will teach you to wait long enough, listen deeply enough, and walk closely enough with me to know the difference. Do not rush what I am still revealing, my beloved child. Do not demand a final answer from a season I am using to uncover what your emotions cannot yet see. There are matters of the heart that must be handled slowly because covenant is not a small thing. A life joined to another life must not be chosen only by the ache of loneliness, the sweetness of attention, the excitement of possibility, or the fear that if you wait, love will disappear. I am teaching you to let your desire be purified by patience, so that you do not choose from a wounded place and later call the wound wisdom. I am not delaying you to torment you, my beloved child. I am slowing you so your heart can see clearly. I am slowing you so longing does not become your counselor. I am slowing you so attraction does not become your prophet. I am slowing you so the fear of being alone does not sit in the seat where my peace belongs. Delay is not always rejection. Waiting is not abandonment. Silence is not punishment. Sometimes waiting is the mercy that keeps you from building a future on a feeling that has not yet been tested, a promise that has not yet produced fruit, a connection that has not yet learned how to stand in truth, purity, patience, and light. There are times when I confirm slowly, because your sight is still healing. You may see a person through the eyes of what you lost, what you wanted, what you prayed for, what you feared would never come, or what you hoped would finally make the ache quiet. You may see tenderness and think covenant. You may see attention and think safety. You may see chemistry and think destiny. You may see someone staying close for a little while and think they are able to remain. But I see the root. I see the direction. I see the hidden motive. I see the places where words are not yet supported by character. I see what the rush would hide from you, and because I love you, I do not always allow speed to carry you past discernment. Urgency is dangerous when it dresses itself in spiritual language. Urgency can make anxiety sound like confirmation. Urgency can make chemistry feel like a sign. Urgency can make fear of loss look like faith. Urgency can whisper, if this were from God, you would have to grab it quickly. But my peace does not speak like panic. My guidance does not need fear in order to move you. What comes from me may require courage, but it will not require confusion as its foundation. What comes from me may stretch you, but it will not pull you away from truth. What comes from me may awaken desire, but it will not make desire more powerful than obedience. As it is written, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. But you must become still enough to hear that guiding voice, my child. You must become quiet enough to distinguish my leading from your panic, my warning from your insecurity, my peace from your numbness, and my timing from your impatience. If every pause feels like punishment, you will run from the very place where I am trying to speak. If every delay feels like denial, you will fight the very mercy that is protecting you. Be still. Let me guide you. Let me say, this is the way, not only when the door opens, but also when the pace slows. Remember Abraham and Lot. I gave Abraham a promise, but there came a time when the attachment beside him had to be properly separated before the land could be seen with clarity. After Lot departed, I told Abraham to lift up his eyes and look. Do you see, my beloved child? Some promises become clearer after certain attachments are separated, reordered, or removed from the place they were never meant to occupy. Some vision returns after the noise quiets. Some peace rises after the pressure leaves. Some clarity comes only when you stop clinging to what is crowding the space where I am trying to reveal my will. This does not mean every delay means no. It means you must let patience do its work. If the person is from me, prayer will not destroy the connection. Patience will not kill it. Truth will not poison it. Light will not threaten it. Wise counsel will not ruin it. Purity will not weaken it. A connection rooted in me can survive being brought before me. It can survive time. It can survive questions. It can survive boundaries. It can survive a slower pace because what I plant is not sustained by panic. What I ordain does not require darkness. What I bless does not have to be hidden from the very wisdom I have placed around your life. But if it is counterfeit, patience will reveal it. Time will expose impatience that was pretending to be passion. Boundaries will expose control that was pretending to be pursuit. Prayer will expose distance from me that was covered by spiritual words. Light will expose secrecy that called itself privacy. Truth will expose inconsistency that sounded like complexity. My beloved child, do not fear exposure. Exposure is not cruelty when it saves your soul from bondage. Exposure is not rejection when it rescues your future from confusion. I reveal what is hidden not to embarrass you, but to protect you. So do not force what I am exposing. Do not keep breathing life into what becomes clear only when you stop striving. Do not keep explaining away the confusion that continues to multiply. Do not keep chasing peace in a place where peace keeps leaving. There are connections that only remain alive because you keep ignoring what I have shown you. There are attachments that only feel powerful because you are afraid to release them. There are relationships that only seem promising when you do not ask hard questions. Do not wait. Do not bring them into prayer. Do not listen to counsel, and do not let truth speak. Let patience refine what is real. Let patience reveal what is false. Let patience heal the eyes through which you are choosing. Let patience teach your heart the difference between a door I opened and a door your longing is trying to force. You are not behind because you are waiting with me. You are not losing what is from me by obeying me. You are not destroying love by asking it to stand in truth. Walk slowly, my beloved child. Some confusion clears only when you stop forcing what I am exposing, and some departures that come after patience are not the death of promise, but the beginning of protection. Some departures are answers, not rejections, my beloved child. Some silences are not proof that you were unwanted, but proof that I was uncovering what could not continue. I saw the unanswered text. I saw the changed energy. I saw how warmth became distance, how promises became uncertainty, how what once felt tender began to feel unstable in your hands. I saw the moment your heart asked, did I imagine this? Did I hear wrongly? Did I love too quickly? Did I lose what was meant for me? And I do not blame you for grieving what you hoped it would become, but I am asking you not to cling to what I have already uncovered. Do not call every departure failure. Do not call every ending rejection. Do not call every exposed inconsistency the loss of a promise. There are times when I allow someone to step away because their presence was feeding your longing while starving your peace. There are times when I let the communication weaken because the connection was becoming stronger than your discernment. There are times when I allow distance because closeness was clouding your obedience. There are times when I expose broken words, unstable patterns, hidden motives, and divided hearts, not because I am trying to wound you, but because I am saving you from building on what cannot bear the weight of covenant. My child, I know you wanted the story to be different. I know you wanted the promise to be clean, the intentions to be pure, the timing to be clear, and the affection to remain steady. I know it hurt when the person who once made you feel chosen began to make you feel uncertain. I know it hurt when tenderness turned into confusion, when spiritual words were not matched by spiritual fruit, when the one who seemed close to your heart began to pull your heart away from stillness. But I ask you to look again with me. Did peace remain, or did anxiety multiply? Did truth become clearer, or did explanations become heavier? Did your prayer life grow stronger, or did you begin hiding parts of the connection from my light? What I remove from your hands is not always what I am denying you. Sometimes it is what I am delivering you from. Sometimes the empty space you call loss is the very space where your peace can breathe again. Sometimes the door that closes is not punishment, but protection. Sometimes the person who leaves is not leaving with your future. They are leaving because they were never able to steward it. Do not chase what became clear in the leaving. Do not beg confusion to become covenant. Do not keep reopening a door just because your heart remembers the first tenderness and ignores the later fruit. Remember Samson, my beloved child. His attachment felt intimate, but it was not safe for his destiny. Delilah was close to him, but closeness did not mean covenant. Her voice had access to him, but access did not mean honor. She pressed him, wore him down, and drew from him what should have been guarded before me. Do you see, my child? Not every person who lies near your heart is assigned to protect your strength. Not every intimate place is a holy place. Not every affection is safe for the calling I have placed upon your life. There are attachments that do not announce themselves as danger at first. They come through desire, through attention, through repeated words, through emotional pressure, until the soul becomes tired enough to surrender what wisdom once guarded. This is why I teach you to release without hatred. You do not have to curse what you must leave. You do not have to become bitter in order to become free. You can forgive and still move forward. You can bless and still close the door. You can pray for someone and still stop giving them access to your peace. You can admit that there were moments of beauty without denying the fruit that followed. Forgiveness does not require you to return to confusion. Mercy does not require you to ignore patterns. Love does not require you to abandon the truth I have shown you. Remember Nehemiah. When he was building, voices called him down. They wanted his attention, his time, his energy, and his focus. But he understood that the work was too important to be interrupted by distraction. He said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Do you see, my beloved child? I am building something in you. I am restoring walls that were broken by disappointment. I am rebuilding discernment where confusion once entered easily. I am strengthening the gates of your heart. Do not come down from what I am building just to answer pressure, mixed signals, emotional manipulation, or the need to prove that you are still loving. Let them go in my hands. Let the unanswered questions rest in my hands. Let the changed energy rest in my hands. Let the broken promise rest in my hands. Let the sudden distance rest in my hands. Let the inconsistency, the confusion, the ache, and the part of you that still wonders what could have been rest in my hands. I am not asking you to pretend it did not hurt. I am asking you to trust that I saw what you could not see fully while your heart was attached. When I remove a confusing attachment, I am not stealing love from you. I am protecting the peace required for what is truly from me. I am clearing the room so covenant peace can be recognized when it comes. I am teaching your heart that love does not have to arrive wrapped in anxiety, secrecy, pressure, and fear. I am preparing you to know the difference between someone who awakens longing and someone who strengthens your walk with me. Walk in peace, my beloved child. What I remove in mercy will not destroy your future. It will prepare your heart to recognize what carries my peace. And now, my beloved child, after I have warned you, let me also give you hope. I do not only remove what confuses you, I also know how to send what strengthens you. I do not only close doors that drain your peace, I also open doors that carry my order, my timing, my tenderness, and my wisdom. Do not let disappointment convince you that every love will wound you. Do not let counterfeit attachment teach your heart to fear covenant. Do not let what was unstable become the measure by which you judge what I am able to send. There are people who carry peace. There are people who honor what is holy. There are people who do not need to control you in order to love you. There are people whose presence will not scatter your spirit, but will help your heart walk more steadily with me. The one I send will not compete with my voice in your life. They will not make you choose between closeness with them and closeness with me. They will not become offended when you pray. They will not resent the boundaries that keep your heart clean. They will not mock the convictions that I have placed within you. They will not call your obedience fear, your purity, immaturity, your caution, pride, or your discernment, rejection. What comes from me will recognize what I am forming in you. What comes from me will honor the healing I am doing in secret. What comes from me will not demand that you abandon the altar in order to keep the affection. My child, the person I send will help you become more prayerful, not less, more whole, not more fragmented, more honest, not more hidden, more courageous, not more afraid, more surrendered, not more possessed by desire. Their presence will not make you hide from me. Their affection will not make you ashamed to come before me. Their nearness will not produce a double life where your mouth says you trust me, but your choices keep running ahead of me. When love carries my peace, it does not pull you away from the secret place. It makes you want to stand in truth more fully. It makes you want to become the person I have called you to be. This does not mean the one I send will be perfect. Do not confuse covenant peace with human perfection. I am not sending you an idol without weakness, without history, without need for grace, without places still being formed by my hand. But there is a difference between imperfection submitted to me and rebellion defended against me. There is a difference between a person who stumbles and repents and a person who wounds and excuses. There is a difference between weakness being healed in the light and sin being protected in darkness. The love I bless is not flawless in every moment, but it is willing to grow, willing to listen, willing to repent, willing to be corrected, willing to walk in truth. Look for the signs of peace, my beloved child. Clarity without manipulation, affection without control, pursuit without pressure, vulnerability without chaos, commitment without spiritual compromise. Look for patience that does not punish you for waiting. Look for honesty that does not require investigation. Look for humility that can say, I was wrong. Look for maturity that does not turn every hard conversation into a storm. Look for a heart that can honor your no, steward your yes, and remain gentle when timing is still unfolding. True love will not make you smaller so that another person can feel secure. I say it again to the place in you that has tried to shrink in order to be chosen. True love will not make you smaller so that another person can feel secure. Remember Ruth and Boaz. Ruth did not have to chase wildly through the field to make herself seen. She walked in humility. She served faithfully. She stayed under wisdom. Boaz did not use her vulnerability for his advantage. He covered with honor. He moved with integrity. He did not turn desire into pressure. He did not hide in secrecy. He handled timing with righteousness before the elders and before the gate. Do you see, my beloved child? Covenant does not always arrive with frantic striving. Sometimes it is revealed through visible fruit, honorable conduct, patient order, and a peace that can stand in the open. Boaz saw Ruth's character before he reached for her heart. Ruth received covering without being stripped of dignity. There was kindness, but not confusion. There was attraction, but not disorder. There was timing, but not manipulation. There was provision, but not possession. There was protection, but not control. This is how I want you to learn to discern. Do not only ask, do they want me? Ask, do they honor me? Do not only ask, are they drawn to me? Ask, do they strengthen what I am building in me? Do not only ask, will they stay? Ask, can they walk in truth when staying requires maturity, sacrifice, patience, and obedience? The one I send will not make you abandon your purpose. They will not be threatened by the assignment I have placed on your life. They will not need you to become dim so they can feel bright. They will not belittle your calling, mock your healing, rush your process, or pull you back into the identity I am delivering you from. They will honor the person you are becoming, not only the comfort you can give them. They will see your tenderness as something to protect, not exploit. They will see your strength as something to bless, not break. They will see your devotion to me as a gift, not a rival. As it is written, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. But I do not send someone to make your soul collapse under the weight of attachment. I send what can walk beside you in purpose. I send what can pray with you, tell you the truth, encourage your obedience, and help you rise when weariness tries to silence your faith. What comes from me will not always be easy, but it will carry grace for growth. It will not always be without hard conversations, but it will carry humility for repair. It will not always move at the pace your longing imagined, but it will carry peace in the waiting. So bring your desire for love back to me, my beloved child. Bring the name you have held. Bring the picture you imagined. Bring the timeline you wanted. Bring the ache that asks when, and the fear that asks what if nothing comes. Lay it before me again. Let me purify it. Let me steady it. Let me teach you to recognize the difference between a soul tie that drains you and a covenant that strengthens you. I am not against your desire to be loved. I am guarding it. I am not withholding tenderness to punish you. I am preparing you to receive what can stand in my light. Walk with me now, and do not be afraid. The one I send will not confuse your spirit. They will help your heart walk more steadily with me. Surrender the name, the timing, and the outcome, my beloved child. Not because your desire is evil, not because your longing is shameful, and not because I am asking you to pretend you do not care, but because desire becomes safest when it is placed in my hands, before it is placed in another person's hands. I know the name you keep bringing before me. I know the hope you are afraid to release, and I know the ache beneath your questions. I know the part of you that whispers, "What if this is the one?" I know the part of you that trembles, "What if I let go and nothing comes?" I know the picture you have formed quietly in your heart, the timeline you imagined, the prayers you prayed, the signs you thought you saw, and the secret fear that surrender may mean losing the very thing you wanted me to bless. But listen to me, my child. Surrender is not the death of love. Surrender is the purification of love. Surrender does not mean I will deny every desire you bring to me. It means you trust me enough to cleanse the desire before covenant is confirmed. It means you trust me enough to separate what is holy from what is hurried, what is a sign from what is imagined, what carries my peace from what only carries emotional intensity. I am not asking you to stop wanting to be loved. I am asking you to stop letting the need to be loved become stronger than your obedience to me. There is a kind of attachment that says, I must know now, I must have certainty now, I must secure this now, I must make this become what I want before it slips away. But my peace does not move by grasping. My wisdom does not need panic to protect what belongs to you. What I have ordained will not be lost because you obeyed me. What I am sending will not be destroyed because you surrendered it to my light. If a connection cannot survive prayer, patience, truth, and holy release, then it was not strong enough to carry covenant. If it must be controlled in order to continue, then it is not resting in my hand. As it is written, commit your way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Do you hear this, my beloved child? Commit your way, not only your pain, not only your past, not only your broken places. Commit your way. Commit the road you want to take. Commit the person you are drawn to. Commit the desire you cannot explain. Commit the fear you keep hiding beneath spiritual language. Commit the timing, the outcome, the conversation, the silence, the possibility, and the answer. Trust me with more than your tears. Trust me with your choices. Before you pursue, pray. Before you attach, pause. Before you declare, test. Before you explain yourself to everyone, obey what I have already shown you in the quiet place. Do not run ahead and then ask me to bless the road you chose without me. Do not ignore the check in your spirit because the affection feels comforting. Do not silence wisdom because longing has become loud. Let your first movement be toward me. Let your heart come into my presence before it runs into a person's arms. Let your desire kneel before it reaches. Let your hope be washed before it builds. And when you do not know what to pray, pray simply. Say, Lord, if this is from you, establish it in peace. If it is not from you, remove it with mercy and heal my heart. Say it without bargaining. Say it without demanding. Say it without secretly holding the answer you prefer above the God you claim to trust. Say it as one who believes that I am good, even when I redirect you. Say it as one who knows that I can remove what confuses you and still provide what comforts you. Say it as one who believes that mercy can come as confirmation, and mercy can also come as release. My beloved child, I know surrender feels vulnerable because you have lost before. I know you have opened your hands and wondered whether anything beautiful would ever be placed there again. I know you have watched others receive what you are still praying for, and you have asked whether I remembered the tenderness of your heart, but I am not mocking your longing. I am guarding your future. I am not dangling love before you to awaken pain. I am teaching you how to recognize love without surrendering your peace, your purity, your purpose, or your nearness to me. Let the fantasy come down from the throne. Let the imagined timeline bow before my timing. Let the need to know immediately be quieted by trust. Let the fear of losing them be replaced by the deeper confidence that you cannot lose what I have truly ordained by walking in obedience. If it is from me, I know how to establish it. If it is not from me, I know how to remove it without destroying you. If your heart breaks in the releasing, I know how to heal what obedience exposes. If your hands feel empty after surrender, I know how to fill them with peace before I fill them with promise. So release the outcome to me. Release the need to force clarity from someone who has not shown fruit. Release the need to keep reading every silence, every message, every delay, every look, every change in tone as though your future depends on decoding confusion. Your future is not hidden in their inconsistency. Your future is held in my faithfulness. Stay near me. Let me purify desire until it becomes clear enough to discern covenant. Let me steady your heart until you can receive without clinging and release without collapsing. Now bring the person, the question, the fear, and the desire into my light. So come now, my beloved child, and let us pray in the quiet place, where desire no longer has to perform, where fear no longer has to speak louder than faith, and where every hidden attachment can be brought into my light. Father, quiet the emotional noise in this heart. Quiet the panic that rises when a message is delayed. Quiet the anxious searching, the overthinking, the imagining, the fear of losing what has not yet been confirmed by you. Let every restless place become still enough to recognize peace. Let every desire be washed in truth. Let every question be held before you, without shame, without hiding, and without fear. Lord, expose every counterfeit attachment with mercy. Expose what sounds tender but leads to confusion. Expose what feels exciting but pulls the soul away from obedience. Expose every connection that feeds longing while draining peace. Expose every word that appears spiritual but does not carry fruit. Expose every hidden pattern, every mixed motive, every manipulation, every pressure, every secret thing that cannot stand in your presence. And do not expose these things to destroy this heart, but to protect it. Do not uncover what is false to shame your child, but to lead them into freedom. As it is written, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you will make us to know wisdom. Heal now, my beloved Father, the fear of being alone. Heal the place that believes loneliness is worse than confusion. Heal the place that would rather hold an unstable hand than wait in your peace. Heal the place that feels forgotten when no one is pursuing, unseen when no one is choosing, and unsafe when nothing is certain. Remind this heart that being hidden with you is not abandonment. Remind this heart that waiting with you is not emptiness. Remind this heart that no person can fill the place. Only your presence was created to fill. Heal the fear of being deceived again. Heal the memory of words that were trusted and then broken. Heal the ache of believing someone's tenderness and later seeing inconsistency. Heal the shame that says, I should have known. Heal the regret that says, I was foolish. Heal the guardedness that now wants to punish every future connection for what a past connection did. Teach this heart to become wise without becoming cold, discerning without becoming suspicious of all love, careful without becoming closed to what you may truly send. Heal the fear of losing someone. Heal the trembling that believes obedience will cost the only chance at love. Heal the fear that if this person walks away, nothing beautiful will ever come again. Heal the need to grip, chase, decode, force, and prove. Let this heart know that what belongs to you does not need to be preserved by panic. What you ordain can survive truth. What you send can endure patience. What you bless will not require disobedience to remain. Heal the fear of waiting too long. Heal the ache that watches time pass and wonders whether the promise has passed with it. Heal the weariness of delayed answers, the comparison with others, the silent grief of still hoping while still not seeing. Teach this heart that delay in your hands is not denial without purpose. Teach this heart that patience is not passive when it is surrendered to you. Teach this heart to wait with clean hands, open eyes, and a spirit that remains alive in hope. Make this heart tender without being unguarded, loving without being desperate, hopeful without being blind, and patient without being passive. Let kindness remain, but let wisdom stand at the gate. Let compassion remain, but let discernment hold the key. Let desire remain, but let desire bow before truth. Let hope remain, but let hope be anchored in you and not in signs that have not been confirmed. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So guard this heart, Lord, not by burying it, but by covering it with your peace. And now I declare over you, my beloved child, that every confusing connection must come into the light of God. Every manipulative pattern must lose its power. Every counterfeit voice must be silenced. Every attachment built on fear, secrecy, pressure, lust, control, confusion, or spiritual compromise must bow before the truth of Jesus Christ. Every false peace must be uncovered. Every emotional chain must be broken. Every place where your heart has mistaken anxiety for love, intensity for confirmation, or pursuit for covenant must be healed by my hand. I declare that the person I send will come with peace, truth, patience, honor, purity, and alignment with my will. They will not destroy your peace to prove their place in your life. They will not pull you away from prayer, from obedience, from purity, or from the quiet conviction of my spirit. They will not need darkness to protect the relationship. They will not need manipulation to secure your affection. They will not make your soul feel unsafe in the name of love. What comes from me will carry light. What comes from me will bear fruit. What comes from me will strengthen your walk with me. Say this now from the deepest place of your heart. Lord, I receive peace, not confusion. I receive truth, not deception. I receive covenant, not counterfeit. Say it again until your spirit agrees with it. Lord, I receive peace, not confusion. I receive truth, not deception. I receive covenant, not counterfeit. Let this become your declaration when longing becomes loud. Let this become your prayer when someone's presence stirs your emotions. Let this become your boundary when affection asks you to ignore what I have already shown you. My beloved child, I will guide you into truth. I will guard your heart. I will confirm what belongs to me. I will not send a love that destroys your peace. I will not bless a connection that requires you to lose your soul in order to keep it. I am faithful in your waiting, faithful in your releasing, faithful in your healing, and faithful in what I am preparing. Walk in peace, my beloved child. I am not late. I am not confused. I am guarding what belongs to me. And if this prayer is your declaration, write in the comments, I receive peace, not confusion. Leave your prayer request for relationship discernment in the comments, and bring the name, the fear, the question, and the desire into the light. Share this message with someone who is trying to tell the difference between covenant and confusion. Like this video if it helped you surrender what you were afraid to release. And subscribe for more God-centered messages of peace, discernment, healing, and holy clarity. Walk in peace. What I send will carry my light.